So the other night we had a discussion and the topic of concealment came up. And some people were saying they thought, oh, concealment must be a virtuous mental factor because that way nobody knows what's going on inside of me and I can protect myself. But in the mind and mental factors list, concealment is actually a destructive mental factor, a non-virtuous mental factor. So actually there's different kinds of concealment and we have to know what kind we're talking about in what context. So the kind of concealment that is a negative mental factor is when we conceal our faults, okay? So when we are dishonest about our faults and hide them. And so that's why in our monastic practice, sorry, that's why in our monastic practice every 2 weeks, we do the posada ceremony, and before we can declare ourselves pure, we have to admit the precepts that we transgressed, and so not conceal them. And actually, before you can admit them, you have to declare if you concealed them. Yeah? Because the concealment is one fault, and then the doing it is another fault. Or should we put it, first you do it, that's one fault, and then concealing it is another fault. So concealing our faults is something negative. Concealing our negative emotions in certain contexts would be similar to concealing our faults. So if somebody is saying, you know, are you angry, are you upset, you know, I want to work this out, and you say, oh, nothing's the matter, or I'm not attached towards this, or I hold no resentment. That's basically lying, isn't it? Isn't it? Yeah? And so that's a kind of concealment that's lying, that's negative. Now, does that mean, on the other hand, that we go around and everything we feel we put out in every circumstance without any kind of discriminating wisdom? No, you know, because there are certain circumstances in which you talk of certain things and certain circumstances you don't. You know, somebody came to the lunch table and starts announcing their faults, you know, while we're trying to decide something as a community, that's not the appropriate circumstance, okay? So when you keep something concealed in that case, you're not really concealing it, you're just choosing the right circumstance in which to say something. Okay? Are you getting what I'm saying? Okay? So we have to choose the right circumstance in which to say certain things and not just be inappropriate thinking, I'm not concealing anything, so I'm going to the grocery store and they're going to know my deepest inner life, you know, at the checkout counter. That's just not appropriate. Okay, but not doing that isn't the kind of concealment that is the negative factor. Okay, are we clear? Yeah? Okay, but the concealment that's the negative one is where we are hiding our negative emotions, hiding our faults, hiding our broken precepts, because we don't want, usually because we don't want people to think badly of us. Okay? And we want to put on a certain image, get a certain respect. So that kind of concealment, it's harmful to ourselves because we never get a chance to purify. Because if we can't admit what we've done, then we can't purify it. Yeah? In a similar way that if we have some kind of negative feeling that we're holding, if we can't admit even to ourselves that we feel it, then we're not going to be able to apply an antidote to it. Okay? Yeah? Any questions about this? Yeah?
So concealment isn't actually a verbal or physical action?
Concealment, yeah, it's a mental factor. So it's a mental action. Yeah, of what you're doing. Okay?